What's up, Gear Mortals? Trey Xavier here. On today's edition of Gear God's Quality Control, we're going to be taking a look at the 529 USB power converter from Mission Engineering. The 529 is a pretty unique and practical little device. The idea is that you can use a USB power supply like the kind you would use to charge your phone or your iPad, and you can use it to power your entire pedal board. Normally, you can't just plug a bunch of pedals into your USB power supply. It doesn't have the right outputs. But if you plug your USB power supply into the Mission Engineering 529, what you get is 5 isolated 9-volt DC center negative pedal power supply outlets for your whole pedal board, as long as you only have 5 pedals. Of course, you can add more than this because you can daisy chain 2 different 529s together if you have them. In this case, I've only got one, which is fine because today I've only brought 3 pedals to work with. I've got the Mimic from TC Electronic, which is a doubler pedal, the amplifier box, which is the source of our amp sims and a bunch of other stuff, as well as cab sims, and I've got the TC Electronic Flashback Mini delay. Here's what that sounds like with a clean tone right now. Right now, of course, you can see that the 529 is sitting on top of my pedal board, as is the power supply, which I'm currently using an APC. That's not ideal, of course. That's not how you'd actually set it up. I just have that so that you, the folks at home, can see what we're working with here. Of course, you're going to want to probably mount both the 529 and the power supply underneath the pedal board for maximum real estate on your board. It's free real estate. And then if you have a pedal board that's kind of like this temple board that has some holes in it, you can feed the cables up through the board and into the pedals. So now the question is, what is the advantage of using something like this over a typical pedal power supply that you plug into the wall? If you get one that's isolated, what difference does it make? Well, anyone who's ever been on tour will tell you that the power situation at venues varies wildly, not just from venue to venue, but also country to country. And if you're going to another country to play shows that isn't the one from which you have come, you're gonna have to figure out converters and adapters and all kinds of stuff, and you don't wanna have to do that, especially if all you're trying to power is your pedal board. So what we have here is pretty much a self-contained, complete guitar rig. So we're going through a 2x12 cab, but we're also going direct to front of house. Here we've got the Atomic amplifier box, which is a complete modeling amplifier in a stomp box size. And then you can modify that with a couple pedals. You probably want to use different ones from what I've got going on. But the whole thing is powered by this whole setup. I don't have to plug it into a wall anywhere. So it doesn't actually matter what country I'm in, where in the world, what the power situation is, because it's self-powered. You don't have to plug it into a wall and worry about whether or not you're gonna get a surge or the power is gonna be really dirty or if it's just gonna go dead in the middle of the set. You don't have to worry about any of that because this is your power supply. But you can't tap into that power supply without something like the 529. If you've never encountered shitty power at a venue, then I have got a story for you. We were interviewing Kyle from The Sword at the El Rey Theater downtown, and I went to plug something into the wall, and there was a shower of sparks and a giant loud bang, and it knocked me on my ass, and I swear to you I thought I was going to die. Luckily I didn't die because here I am. But it made me very, very wary of plugging anything into anything else for the rest of my life. I didn't get shocked, I didn't get blown up, but there was black soot all over my hand. It was terrible. I thought it was gonna burn down the whole building. So anyway, that can't happen with this type of setup. You cannot hurt yourself with this kind of a setup unless you try and eat it like an idiot. The life of your power supply is going to vary greatly depending on how big it is and how much juice it can hold and all that. I've been using this APC that came with the 529 and the Pro or Deluxe package, whatever it is, comes with it. And so far, I haven't even drained it once. And I had it running for several hours, no problem. You can see I'm down to 3/4 right now. Some pedal boards will take a lot more juice than others. These are all digital pedals, and digital pedals typically take a lot more power than analog ones. Long story short, if you're touring, the last thing you want is to have problems with your pedal board. Pedal boards are already pretty complicated as is, and throw in the X factor of venue power, and you've got a recipe for disaster. So this makes it basically bulletproof. As long as you remember to charge this every couple of shows or whatever, you're gonna be fine. You'll look across the stage at your bandmates and you'll laugh at them because they're struggling with shitty venue power because you got the 529 from Mission Engineering and you don't have to deal with any of that crap. All in all, the Mission Engineering 529 is a pretty simple little device, but you gotta think of it as a gateway to a kind of power for your pedal board that you probably haven't used before. And it's really gonna make a huge difference in your live performance and your day-to-day gigging. It's gonna just make everything that much simpler and easier. You won't be looking around the stage for something to plug into. If you're playing like crappy little venues, like I've played before, and you're like, hey man, where can I plug this in? The sound guy's like, I don't know, man, and there's just no plug, and you wind up running 50 feet of extension cable. You don't have to do any of that. This is gonna take care of so many problems for you. If you're also in need of some stage volume, I might recommend the Gemini 2 from Mission Engineering. I've been using this for a couple weeks now. It's a full range flat response 212 cab that has a knob in the back where you can go from like guitar speaker cab sound all the way to completely flat, and then you can use the cab sounds from your modeler, which is what I do. It's perfect for this kind of setup where you've got just a small modeler, probably a floorboard of some kind, and then you just need something to make it louder. It's big, it's beefy, it's real loud, and it's not that heavy. So I kind of like this kind of setup. Like, this is your whole rig. That's it. You're done. You'll be loaded in 10 times faster than anybody else in the band. You'll be on stage sound checking while they're still hauling their gear in. Having a powered cab just makes your life on tour so much easier. It's one less thing that you have to worry about. It's usually solid state power, which is a lot more reliable. And although solid state stuff doesn't sound very good on its own, if you're running it flat, it doesn't really matter. You've got your power amp and cab sim stuff in your modeler, and then you can use whatever kind of power amp sound you want. So if you're looking to simplify your pedal board and make it way more reliable and more travel friendly, the 529 from Mission Engineering is going to make your life just so much easier. So definitely check it out if that's something you're looking for. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, mash that subscribe button for more reviews and original content. And I'll see you real soon.